the whitest cloud, dotted with speckles of sky blue. The eggs are stirring, hatching. Tiny lines crisscross their surfaces, growing wider with each tremor and twitch. Before long, a shadow falls over the leaves, and another, and there is a whooshing sound as two flying horses swoop down from the sky. Beneath them, in the tree branches, nestled in the moss, are three newly hatched, tiny winged foals. For as long as anyone can remember, the children of Thrynne have looked at billowing clouds in the sky and wished on a cloud horse, always hoping, but never quite believing, that their wish will come true. No one has ever seen a cloud horse. But that is about to change. Chapter 1. The Runcible Spoon. Zam Zephyr woke early and climbed out of bed, careful not to disturb the other apprentice bakers of Bakery No. 9, who were still fast asleep around him. It was the day before the Grand Duchess of Troutwine's tea ball, and Zam was too excited and nervous to stay in bed. Today, they would bake for the tea ball tomorrow. All 12 bakeries in the city competed for the honour of making the most delicious treats for the ball. If anything went wrong again, after last year's disaster that put Bakery No. 9 at the bottom of the heap, Zam and his friends would be sent home in disgrace. The thought of his father's disappointed face was too much to bear. No, Zam thought, he would do anything he could to make sure that his baking was perfect. In the corner of the attic dormitory, his best friend Langdale the goat boy was gently snoring. Beneath the flour sack blanket, his hooves twitched as he dreamed of chasing blue butterflies through the summer pine forests of the western mountains. In the other corner, the two Shellac sisters clutched the comfort shawl they shared. In the cots in between, the gnome boys from the grey hills slept soundless and still, 5 to a blanket, their small grey tufted heads just visible. Looking out of the window, Zam could see the golden roofs of the palaces glittering in the early morning sunlight. He gazed up at a billowing cloud and made a wish. "To bake the best gingerbread ever," he whispered. Cloud Horse, far from view, make this wish of mine come true." Zam took his apron and cap from the hook and crept out of the attic, leaving his friends to their dreams. Zam ran all the way down the stairs to the basement, opened the door to the Flavour Library, and stepped inside. This was his favourite place. He loved how precise, tidy, and ordered everything was here. He smiled to himself. With everyone asleep upstairs, it was the perfect time of day to practice without any interruptions. Shelves lined the basement walls from floor to vaulted ceiling. Looking up through the glass paving stone, Zam could see the shadows of feet walking overhead as people passed the doors of Bakery No. 9. The shelves around him were stacked with jars of all shapes and sizes, each clearly labelled. Zam selected the jars he needed, opening each one in turn and taking pinches of the powders they contained. Carefully, he placed the spices on little squares of baking parchment, which he folded neatly and placed in different pockets of his apron. Satisfied with his choices, Zam crossed the stone floor to a large chest of drawers set in an alcove. He opened a drawer labelled Index of Crusts and selected one with crinkle-cut edges and memorised the baking instructions written in small lettering on the underside. "For a crumbly texture, short, intense mixing, and slow bake in quiet oven," Zam read. The memory of the calm, reassuring sound of the head baker's voice filled his head, as it always did when Zam read his recipes. "For a more robust biscuit, easeful mixing with broad, generous spoon and a short, fierce bake in busy oven." "Broad, generous spoon," Zam repeated to himself, returning the crinkle-cut crust to the drawer and closing it. He looked up and was about to select one of the wooden spoons, which hung from the hooks in the ceiling, when he trod on something. It was a large spoon.